Guys, today is going to be very much so nuts and bolts, maybe some technical type stuff for some of you guys. So if you're a little bit newer, this might be a video that you'll come back to again and again for a lot of different reasons. I'm going to cover a lot of ground in a little bit of time. This is all going to get recorded. So, really what I'm talking about tonight is submitting applications. All right. And I'm going to talk a little bit about running illustrations because we get a lot of questions on that for a couple different key products that we run illustrations for. But we're talking about submitting applications. So when you're sitting down with somebody, whether it's a final expense lead, a mortgage protection person, a best friend, somebody that you're getting a tax-free retirement account with an IUL, you're sitting down with somebody and you tell them like, hey, the next step is, we're going to go ahead and put an application in with the insurance company. This video is designed to show you so you know what to do, how to do that, and you can have some confidence about it. And some of this you're going to learn by going, but again, we wanted to put this video together for all of us. So really just jumping in here, again, I'm talking about putting in the application specifically with a bunch of our different carriers. Hold on, let me get my video to do what I want it to do here. Actually, you know what? Hold on, Dave. I'm gonna demote you real quick.
No problem.
Like I'm gonna send you back. There you go. Thank you, Dave. All right, cool. This way this will be good for the recording. So I'm talking specifically about putting in the applications and running the illustrations, with our different carriers. And, I want you guys to know that we've got other videos that are out there that will give you some of the things that you need to know as far as getting you to this point with your client. So, you sit down with somebody, you figure out their kind of their health situation, and then from there, it's like, great. So if we could find something that covers this need, again, these are things that we've covered in other videos, uncovering the need, finding the why did they fill out the form, why are they, what is their retirement going to look like if they don't do, a tax-free retirement plan or whatever the case is. Okay, you're finding out the reason why that they filled out the form. You're figuring out the problem. Okay, and all we're doing here is helping people figure out a problem, see the problem, and then we're helping them see and find out the solution. So we're on the solution side of the equation here when it comes to making the sale with putting in an application. So first things first, where do you find the applications? It's very, very simple. You find the applications if you go to the ARC, so arc.naaleads.com, you click on My Business. Right here, it says eApps. You click on that, and then all these fine insurance companies are going to pop up, all these different companies. And I'm going to run us through some of the most common ones as far as putting in an application. How do we do that? What does it look like? What are some of the little caveats with each different company that you want to be aware of? And before I get into that, what I want to go through first is I'm going to talk about two main companies that we will write a lot of business with, that you're going to write a lot of business with, and how do we run those illustrations? Okay, because I get questions all the time. Hey, how do I do this illustration with this product? How do I do this illustration with that product? So I'm going to show you guys here. And again, it's going to be quick, but this is going to be recorded. You can go back, rewatch it, and go from there. So take advantage of our YouTube page, get some of the info. Maybe, if this is your first time being on the call, watch a lot of the recordings on there. So, as far as some of the main products that you're going to run into where you will want and or need to run an illustration, there's really two that I'm going to go over here tonight. One is Foresters, and Foresters has two good products that you might want to run an illustration for. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that, and then also F&G with their PathSetter IUL product. I'm going to show you guys how do you run an illustration, how do you do that, and then we're going to talk about how do we put in applications with not only these companies but a bunch of other companies. So as far as Foresters goes, there's really two products that you might run an illustration on. One is called the Smart UL, and what I've got pulled up here is our this is very similar to the mobile quoting tool that you're going to find on the on your phone if you're doing this on your phone. And so it looks just like this. And let's say you're sitting down with somebody and the best option for them is the Smart UL. So what it's going to do is it's going to pop this up. You're going to put in their birthday or, put in their age, just so you guys all know. Foresters, with just about all of their policies or the main policies that we're writing, which is their non-medical term, the Smart UL and Advantage Plus 2, they're an age closest to company. So, for example, if I'm sitting down with Bob, and Bob is, he might be 50 years old, but let's say Bob's birthday, okay, is coming up here, and let's say Bob's birthday is in April. of April of 72. Well, Bob might be 50 years old right now, but because we're 6 months closer to April, Bob is going to be age closest to 51. So we're going to run those numbers at 51. And let's say Bob wants $100,000 of coverage. Keep it simple. What's going to pop up on here when you run this on your phone, or if you're doing this on your computer, this is what's going to pop up. Okay. And, the payment mode. Okay. He's doing monthly. We're doing non-medical, non-tobacco. Do we want to add accidental death? Okay. You have that conversation with the client. But you're going to hit calculate quote. And where people get caught up on this product in particular is there's 3 different numbers that show up on here. It's like you've got this minimum premium. Okay. Looks nice, $100 for 100,000. Let's do that. We've got something called the Smart Solve premium, which is 172, and then we've got the commissionable target premium. When you're selling this product, okay, you want to sell this as close to the Smart Solve premium as possible. In fact, I would encourage you to sell it at the Smart Solve premium. Now, I'm going to give you a little caveat to that. When we go to run an illustration, if we need to run an illustration, help sell the client, whatever the case might be, you do that by going to your Foresters website. It's this link right here, myeasybiz.foresters.com. You're going to put in your username, your password. Okay, you're going to click on login, and this is the same company, same product. And of course, they're going to ask me for this right now. So they'll ask you for your PIN verification if you got that set up. 313-772. Hopefully I put that in right. All right, so then it'll pop you up to this website. And this is kind of like your Foresters agent back office. You click on illustrations. And what I'm going to show you guys here is the same scenario. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down to the product, the Smart UL. Okay, and it starts out, the default on here is that they're age 35. Well, Bob is really 50, but oh wait, Bob is closer to 51. So I'm going to put 51 in there. And if I go run it on here, the number is going to show up. Oh, sorry, you got to make sure we're looking at apples to apples. All right, 100,000 death benefit. All right, so we got Bob in here, and this is popping up as $156. And I get it. Like sometimes people get confused. Like, well, I like commissionable target, that's 145. The Smart Solve is 172. They tell me to do the Smart Solve. Okay, what the default is on this right here on the software, when you log in, is something called the cash value surrender solve. Okay, and just here's what I'm gonna tell you guys is you can really, in my opinion, you can sell this product really anywhere between the cash value surrender solve, in Bob's case $156, all the way up to the Smart Solve, which is $172. Now, if you wanted to look at the illustration at the Smart Solve premium for this particular product, okay, you click on that add a glance button right over there, and this is going to show you if Bob is paying the Smart Solve of $172 a month, what is the cash value of this policy going to end up looking like? And if you look at this, Bob ends up having lots of cash value. He gets a death benefit that goes up because he's got lots of cash value in that policy. Now, if we were to go look at this at the Smart Solve, or excuse me, the cash value surrender solve, this other one, the cheaper one, if you look at this one is going to design the policy in such a way that Bob is still going to get some cash value growth inside of this policy. But the policy is, when he gets to be age 100, it's barely alive. Okay. But he makes it to 121 the way that we're illustrating this, and Foresters has more of a guarantee on this product. Again, this isn't necessarily a product call. I just want to give you guys a little bit of how some of these things work. So this is the cash value surrender solve, so $156. Typically, what I will do is I will take this cash value surrender solve and I will round it up a little bit. Let's just say $160. Again, anywhere between what you get on the website here and what you have on the application for the Smart Solve, you're pretty good to go on this product. So if we did $160 even, okay, if you look at this, it ends up growing. It ends up being a great policy. It's fantastic. Bob is happy. Everybody's happy. So that's that Smart UL product. Another product that you might run illustrations for with Foresters, okay, is their Advantage Plus 2 product, okay, and which is a whole life product. It's a medical and non-medical, just like the Smart UL. Okay, so let's just say same stuff going on here. And if you look at Bob, you put all the info in. Now we're looking at Advantage Plus 2, participating whole life, calculate quote. Okay, there's 2 options here. One is a 20 pay, one is a pay to 100. And you might say, well, why would I ever sell this product if it costs more for the same amount of coverage as the Smart UL? Well, if you look at the Smart UL, okay, the Smart UL is a level death benefit product, so it's cheaper, okay, and it's a great product. In fact, I sell probably more Smart ULs than I do Advantage Plus 2, or I have definitely in the past. But if you look at this, so that has a level death benefit. The Advantage Plus 2, okay, has because it's a whole life and because it's a participating whole life, and I've used this to sell a bunch of these. It starts out at 100,000, but the older Bob gets, Bob is 51, 52, or 50, 51. When Bob is 70, let's say Bob dies at 70, he's got $122,000 worth of life insurance, and he's still got a bunch of cash value inside of that policy. Okay, so I wanted to give you guys a little bit of, hey, here's how you run some illustrations. We have some people that are, talking about and doing policies for kids. Advantage Plus 2 can be a great policy for kids. How do you do the 20 pay for a kid? Well, you put in their age. Let's say it's a 1-year-old. And a lot of times on the 20 pay, the parents will like to do on the Advantage Plus 2 for kids, they'll want to do a 20 pay policy. So we're, pay the policy off in 20 years. And if you look at this, so you're paying premiums for 20 years. Okay. This is on a 1-year-old male. Okay. We're doing non-medical here. So $700 a year for 20 years ends up being $14,000. And then you don't pay any more premiums. Well, the kid will end up having $18,000 worth of cash value in that policy at the end of the 20 years. So more dollars than you paid, right? And permanent death benefit, permanent life insurance, cash value that grows as they get older. They can borrow this cash value. So again, I just want to show you guys how do we run some of these illustrations. That's how you do it with Foresters. Now, for doing it for F&G on, let's say, an IUL, you go to the F&G website, fglife.com. You log in. Let's see if they're going to make me do a text message or something. Nope. And you're going to go in here and you're going to click on sales tools and you're going to click on illustrations. You're going to click on the web illustrations. You don't need to download these companies' software. Okay. It's not 1995. They all have websites and you can just do it on the website. So, you go to F&G, it'll pull it up just on the website. And let's see, Bob, it's going to have you start filling some of this stuff out. This page right here, okay, with IGO Pipeline, you're going to see this a lot, okay? It'll say Bob has the same birthday, 4/1/19, I think it was 72 is what we were looking at. Okay, so with F&G, it says Bob's 50, great. Bob lives in the great state of Colorado. Product type, you're going to click on Indexed Universal Life. And again, there's other products. I'm just showing you guys the most common ones that we write and how to do an illustration with this. Okay. So if this is good, give me a thumbs up or something. Let me know in the stuff there. So as far as writing the IUL for Bob, there's really two different things in my mind when I'm writing an IUL that I can look at. I can look at max accumulation and income, or I can look at max accumulation. Okay, if you're solving for income, meaning somebody is getting this IUL for the purpose of having some sort of tax-free retirement income, then do the max accumulation and income. If they really just want it for accumulation, they're young, they're not thinking so much about income, you can just do max accumulation. It'll be a little bit simpler. I'm going to show you guys the max accumulation and income. So you click on that, and what's going to happen is it's going to pop up this extra screen. And on here, you're going to solve for the face amount, meaning we're going to tell you how much the premium is, how much does Bob want to put into his policy, and tell us how much life insurance we got to get to make that work. So let's say Bob is paying monthly, and let's say Bob wants to pay $300 a month into his policy. Okay. You go down here, you put in $300. I clicked on monthly, you click OK. All right. And Bob is going to pay, let's say he pays his premiums until he is age 75. And again, I'm just making stuff up here. Okay. Bob wants to start taking income at the age of 75, and he wants to take that income for 20 years. Okay. Right down here, it's going to say use 7702 rates. I would click that. Okay. It's going to be better for Bob. And this is something that you're going to have to do on your own, but different scenarios require a different policy design. So just for time's sake, I'm going to show you guys option B, okay, or even B to A. There are situations where option A can be better for somebody, but you ought to look into it and find out. So I'm changing Bob's death benefit from a growing death benefit on this IUL to a level death benefit when he's 75 years old. That's how I let him know, age 75, and I'm gonna hit calculate results. Okay. And again, this is just to give you guys a little bit of like familiarity on running these illustrations and looking at these products and how does this all work. So Bob is paying $3,600 a year, $300 a month, and he's going to pay that until, like I said, till he's 75 years old. And this is illustrating that Bob will have $18,000 a year tax-free income until he's 95 years old. Okay, that's how you run that illustration. You can play around with different indexes. Okay, so the Barclays index with F&G is very high performing. You'll see that here in a second. It'll look very, very good on the illustration. Okay, so I would, if I'm writing an IUL, I'm probably putting it into this Barclays. Look at the difference there, 18,000 versus 24,000, because that index is performing better. So that's how you run some common illustrations, for maybe more in some situations, some more advanced products, but want to have this content and this available to you guys, just so you know how to do it, at least on a basic level. Obviously, if you get more questions, we can help you with that stuff. So that is how you run some of those illustrations. Now, how do you write an EAP? And you're sitting down with your client, maybe you're writing them, F&G like I just showed you, or maybe you're writing them Foresters. I'm going to go through a couple different scenarios and a couple different products that you might be writing somebody, and how do you write an EAP and how do you get in there, all that kind of stuff. So to give you guys some examples here, I'm going to start with Foresters. And just so you know, oops, doesn't like me. And by the way, these insurance companies are not necessarily technology companies, and you will have stuff like this happen all the time. Don't freak out. Like it usually all you do is you hit X, I come back here, I try it again, and for whatever reason, the internet, gods out there just made it work. So I'm writing Bob a Foresters policy. So I clicked on Foresters. Okay, Foresters Financial. It popped me up into this screen right here. And there we go. I'm going to start a new case. So Bob is my new case, and maybe I'm sitting with Bob in his house. Okay. Once you get this going, and you get, you're doing this a lot, you will be writing lots of applications in people's houses. So I'm sitting here typing this stuff. So first name, last name, Bob's birthday is April Fool's Day, 1972. So Bob is 50. Bob will show up as 51 on the application. And this case description right here, you're really just making something up, 100K term. Okay, so that's what I'm writing for Bob. And Bob is, you put in your state, you put in the product type, term life, find available products. When you do this, it's going to pop up both Foresters and Mutual of Omaha. We're writing in Foresters, and we're doing the Strong Foundation non-medical product. You're going to click on select. Okay. And for the most of this, or the rest of this, it's really just Bob's information. I'll run you guys through it real quick. Do we agree to all this stuff? Yes, we agree. It's going to have you do the, your agent info on every time. You'll get good at it. You'll memorize your agent info, supposedly. Okay. And for those of you guys, again, if you're brand new and you're like, man, I don't know my agent number. Well, if you're contracted with carriers, here's the beautiful thing about the ARC. Is the ARC, everything is in one place. Like it's the Alliance Resource Center, it's all in one spot. So you click on My Business and you click on My Carrier Writing Number. So let's say I didn't know my Foresters number, it'll tell me right here my Foresters writing number. Okay, so you can copy that, paste it right there, hit validate. Is there going to be more than one agent? No. And then you put in Bob's information here. Oh, they don't like my lies here. Okay. So the rest of this is really just Bob's information. Something that I would note on this Forester Strong Foundation application, and it's very similar to the Smart UL. It's very similar to Advantage Plus 2, but something I would note on all these Foresters, the Foresters Term, Universal Whole Life applications, is it won't always tell you what the premium is. Okay, so that's where you go to that quoting app and you go type in either on your phone, or I'll do it on my phone while I'm in the house, but you can pull it up on your computer and it'll tell you how much the premium is. The Foresters member part right here is asking, are they already do they already have a Foresters policy? Lots of times they don't. Put in their income, or they're borrowing money, are they selling an insurance policy in order for this? No. Driver's license. Are they currently employed? Bob is unemployed. Whatever, you put the details in there. They ask you these questions, active duty. So you go through and you answer these questions. And again, on this application, there's not a whole lot for you to really need to know or to be aware of. If you're doing the Smart UL, okay, just so you guys know this, if you're doing the Smart UL or Advantage Plus 2, it is a little bit different. A lot of the application is the same. Okay, but there's a couple parts of this application on the Smart UL and Advantage Plus that I just want to walk you guys through so you know what to do. So you know what to do when you get there. So they're asking, are we doing a 1035 exchange? Most cases you're not. There might be some cases where you are, but probably not. Same agent info. And let me just show you guys this. There's a part right here where it's talking about the illustration certification. Okay, and for Bob, let's say I sat with Bob, I'm in his house, I show him maybe a part of the illustration just on my computer. Well, there's different options here. So I almost always am showing Bob a little bit of an illustration on the computer, and I will click a computer screen illustration. If I click on this, it's gonna create more work for you. You could do no illustration, in which case when Bob gets his insurance policy in the mail, they're gonna make him sign, the illustration. Instead, what I like to do is just I'll show it to him on the computer, put the plan that we applied for, $100,000. Let's say we set him up with a Smart Solve, it was 172 and some change. So you put the 172 and some change in there, whatever the exact number is. For time's sake, let's just say it's 172 even. He's going to be paying monthly. So you want to fill this out, okay, is what I'm getting at. The issue age is 51 because Bob is closer to 51 than he is to 50. So that's a part where you could potentially create some more unnecessary work for yourself. Click on non-tobacco. And if there's no riders, then you just put none. What type of death benefit? Usually we're selling this as a level product. Right now, and this could change, okay? So as of the time of this video, this recording, the guaranteed interest rate with this product is 2%, and the current rate, I believe, is 4.65%, okay? And most of the time we're doing this guideline premium test. So when you do it like this with the computer screen illustration, you show Bob everything on the computer, you just type all this in there. It makes it so he can e-sign the application along with everything else. And these are typically the ways that we're setting up this policy. Of course, if you set it up in a different way, write it a different way. So that's the Strong Foundation, Advantage Plus 2, or Strong Foundation and Smart UL. Advantage Plus 2 is very similar, to this. Just there's a little bit less questions. Almost always the dividend option is going to be paid up additions. There's maybe a little bit less questions on there. So very, very similar on that. So that's Foresters as far as Strong Foundation, Smart UL, Advantage Plus 2, writing those policies if that's the best fit for your client. The next one I want to show you guys, and it's a pretty simple one. So again, you go to My Business, you go to eApps, and it'll pop up all the different companies. You click on Mutual of Omaha. So Mutual of Omaha has some other great products that make sense for people. And let's say, just for time's sake, instead of starting a new case, I'm going to open up I'm going to do my case with Bob here. Okay. Go to Bob. Let's say I sit down with Bob and Bob doesn't like the Smart UL or whatever. We're going to pick a different product tab. We're going to click on Whole Life. Let's say we're writing the Mutual of Omaha Living Promise Final Expense Policy. Okay. So you click on that. Maybe Bob doesn't qualify for a Smart UL. He's got some health challenges, but Bob can qualify for Mutual of Omaha. So the first time you write a Mutual of Omaha app, it's very, very likely that your number and your name won't automatically populate. So just know that, and you just submit as guest. No problem. They'll find you. Don't worry. You'll be good. But once you write an application with them and it gets approved and everything, your name will usually pop up in there. If for whatever reason your name doesn't pop up in there, what I do is I'll go to my web browser right here and I'll click on this little lock. And lots of times, because a lot of different companies use iGo forms and iPipeline and all this stuff, you can kind of get mixed up with your cookies a little bit. So I would go on there and clear the cookies, reset it, and it all works. So you just hit select user. And just what I want you guys to know about this Mutual of Omaha application, with all Mutual of Omaha applications, is the first part of this is, the producer info, his name, his info, social, all that kind of stuff. Down here, there's actually two signatures on this application with Mutual of Omaha. And once you fill out all of this information, at first it's going to have him sign his HIPAA. Okay, so you're gonna, if you're doing this virtually, you're gonna send him an email. He's got to walk through it. He's got to sign the HIPAA agreement. If you're doing this in person, it's still gonna have you sign the HIPAA. And once you sign the HIPAA, okay, then it's going to unlock all of the health questions. And you're gonna go through all the health questions, answer all those truthfully, and then you're gonna set the beneficiary information, the payment information, all the rest of the stuff, and then you're gonna lock the documents again, and he's gonna sign the application. So there's 2 signatures with Mutual of Omaha. Something valuable to know, because when I was brand new, I did 1 signature, and then I'm like, where's my policy? Why haven't I gotten paid? And I didn't do the other signature. It was my fault. Okay, so that's Mutual of Omaha. Another one that I wanted to show you guys is Columbia Financial Group. So here's the thing with CFG. So CFG has some phenomenal final expense. They got some great term, great final expense. And just with CFG, you will need to put in your NAA PIN every single time that you put in an application with them. Okay. So I don't know if you guys can see that, whatever. I'll block it out of the recording. But there's my PIN, and I got my PIN memorized because I've written a bunch of CFG apps. So once you put your PIN in, it's going to have you click log in. And once you log in, then you can get to the application. And something that I've been running into lately, as you add new, you're going to click on new eApp. As you add new states to your license, when you start writing policies out of state, different states, number one, you'll need to get them added. You have to let CFG know. You'll have to let all the carriers know. Mutual of Omaha will kind of check for you, which is nice. But I've had this happen a couple of times where I'm in somebody's house and I'm starting the application and I accidentally have this on California, and I'm in Colorado. I'm not in California, so I got to go restart it, and it's a huge pain in the butt. So make sure it's on the state that you want. If let's say you're writing on final expense, you click on final expense. And here's what I love about Columbia Financial Group's application is it is very, very simple. Okay, it is real simple. There's the first page is like their height and weight health questions. So, you ask these uncomfortable questions if they're uncomfortable. And oops, I'll say Bob is 5 foot. His birthday is 4/1/1972. All right, Bob is very healthy. I'm going to answer no to all the questions on here. And I'm obviously, when I'm sitting in the home with Bob, I'm asking him all these questions verbatim as they're written. And we are answering them on the application. Okay. So Bob, they don't ask about, it's not required. So if you look on here, the yellow is what's required. The white is not required. Now, if Bob was a little bit older, and they will ask, like, when did he go to the doctor last? You know what I mean? And what's the name of the doctor and the address? And I sit here and I Google this stuff. Okay. I'm like, so where's your doctor? Oh, I go to UC Health. Okay, great. Which one? And I go to Google Maps and I copy and paste the address right there. I've used tobacco. Okay. No, I've used marijuana. No. How much coverage you trying to get, Bob? And I've already quoted him at this point. This is just writing the application. And a couple of things that I like about CFG is it will tell you what the premium is going to be, so you can kind of check your work a little bit. And this accelerated death benefit, I would always check that because it's free. I would add it to their policy for sure. It's free. So Bob client. And the reason I'm going through all this with you guys on this one is there's just one part of this application that I want you guys to be able to see and just be aware of, especially your first one. So this is all Bob's information. Now on here, when we get to the payment information, ooh, excuse me. So when we get to the payment information for Bob, CFG is going to assume that the effective date is today. Okay. And in some cases that is the truth. Bob's like, I want this to come out immediately. And what'll happen is the default is this immediate draft. Okay. And when you're brand new, you just don't know what's going on. You just click the yellow thing because you got to click the yellow. But what I want you to know is, let's say Bob wants his policy to draft every month on the 15th, let's say. Well, then I'm going to put this in here as the 15th. Okay. So 11/15 is the effective date. So once I change the effective date, now the yellow circle moves to right here. The reason you sometimes don't want to do the immediate draft with CFG is that is going to draft your client whether they get approved or not. Okay. So personally, what I will do is I will I'll put even if I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're going to get approved, they want to get approved right now, I'll still put the draft date a couple days out. Okay. Because I don't want them to get drafted if they're not yet approved, because I had a client early on got him a policy. We did the immediate draft, and it drafted him. And with just about every other company out there, when they get drafted, that means that they're approved. So the guy's like, hey, this came out of my bank account. And I'm like, hey, man, that's great. That means you're approved. And then it came back that he wasn't approved, and he was pissed. So I always change this to draft initial premium at a future date when the policy is approved. Okay. And then they'll let you pick the future dates. So pick that. All right. Let's say he wants to be on the 15th, beginning in the month of, the first one is November. So the next one is December. So click on that, right? Banking information. Okay. So that's how you write a CFG app. CFG will, kick you to, their website. So, oops. So they'll kick you to their website. So I'm going to go back to the ARC, My Business, eApps. And the last one that I'm going to show you guys here is a company called Great Western. Now, all the companies have applications. Okay, you got to write apps with all of them, or you are likely to write applications with a bunch of them. I'm giving you the most common ones. And again, if you're brand new, like, you're probably going to write these companies quite a bit. So Great Western is another one. And here's what I'll tell you about Great Western is you're going to want to sign up and register for their agent portal once you get contracted with them. So you'll set up a username, you'll set up a password, that way you can log in. Great Western's app is fantastic. Okay, and quite frankly, Great Western has some. They revamped their products. And if you guys haven't written Great Western yet, and you're out there doing final expense, you ought to look into Great Western. It could be a great fit for your clients, and their stuff is very, very simple and easy to use. So let's see here. So pulled up differently. Usually there's a little thing that says like what does it say? It says My Enroller. Okay, and I don't know where My Enroller is right now, so we might have to record this kind of separate. But maybe they think I'm not. No, that wouldn't make sense. Where the? If anybody's got a. Come on now, Great Western. Hold on. See, and if you're in somebody's house, you just got to be a little bit resourceful. There we go. Do you guys see that? It says My Enroller, final expense. I don't know what happened. All right, we're going there. Okay, so you click on My Enroller for final expense. And it'll load eventually. So you can write Bob his policy. All right. So you click on Launch My Enroller. You log in again, same username and password, and it's going to do its little thing there. Okay. And let's say Bob is in my zip code. Bob is a male. His birthday is 4/1/1972. I'm going to hit Start New. And this application, I'm telling you guys, is extremely very, very, very easy. So let's say Bob wants $40,000 worth of coverage. It's going to give me the quotes right here. So I've probably already quoted him using the quoting tools. Again, there's a different video for that. But Great Assurance final expense. We're not adding any riders. Have you used tobacco? No. Okay. And what I like about what they do too is sometimes you sit down with people and you don't know if they're going to get the graded plan, which is a little bit more expensive and a little bit different of a policy, or the day one plan. So let's say Bob might get the graded plan. I don't know for sure. We're going to shoot for $40,000 worth of day one coverage, but if not, then we'll get him, this one. So let's see here. We're going to, oops. What did I do? Sure. Okay. There we go. Okay, Great Assurance final expense. 40,000. Click that. Sure. Add plan, start application. And I'm telling y'all, it is very, very, very simple. Here's their medical questions. Actually, I don't think it'll let me go ahead, but their medical questions are all on one page. It's a really simple application. The hardest part with Great Western is getting in to Great Western and making sure that you're registered with Great Western. So again, I just want to show you guys just some really basic stuff. And, once you get in the game and once you're writing applications, it's all very simple and you get used to it. But we work with so many different companies that, you know, it can be easy to get lost in the weeds a little bit as far as writing the applications and you know, which companies to go with, and some of them have different applications, different products. Like it could be a little bit overwhelming. So those are the most, you know, popular ones, the ones that you're probably going to write the most. So I just want to show you guys how to do that. I think that's valuable for y'all. And I appreciate you guys hanging with me on here and being on. And I'm going to stop the recording here. And there we go.